Kazakh authorities have announced that an Embraer passenger plane flying from Azerbaijan to Russia has crashed near the city of Aktau in Kazakhstan just a short while ago. 67 passengers and 5 crew were on board. Initial reports suggest that 12 people have survived, while Kazakhstan's emergency ministry says 42 people have likely died in the crash. Unverified video of the crash showed the plane, which was operated by Azerbaijan Airlines, bursting into flames as it hit the ground and thick black smoke then rising. Meanwhile, the Central Asian country's emergencies ministry has said in a statement that fire services have put out the blaze and that survivors are being treated at a nearby hospital. In rare airstrikes on Tuesday, Pakistan targeted multiple suspected hideouts of Pakistani Taliban inside neighbouring Afghanistan. Now, this resulted in the death of at least 15 people, including women and children. The strikes were carried out in a mountainous area in Paktika province bordering Pakistan, where the local authorities said the number of deaths is expected to rise. Pakistani security officials have said that the strike dismantled a training facility and killed some insurgents. The Taliban, meanwhile, has condemned the unilateral strikes and warned of retaliation. Local media is reporting the airstrikes have caused severe civilian casualties and widespread destruction, further escalating tensions in the region. As recovery efforts continue, further investigation is required to confirm details and clarify responsibility for these attacks. External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar will be in the US till the 29th of December. Now, this marks the first high-level engagement between New Delhi and Washington following Donald Trump's presidential election victory. According to the Ministry of External Affairs, Dr. Jaishankar will hold discussions with counterparts on vital bilateral, regional and global matters. He is also scheduled to chair a conference of India's consul generals in the US. According to reports, he is expected to hold meetings with both Trump and Biden administration officials. Israel has instructed its diplomatic missions in Europe to try and get Iran-backed Houthis in Yemen designated as a terrorist organization. Now, the Houthis have repeatedly fired drones and missiles towards Israel in what the group describes as acts of solidarity with Palestinians fighting Israeli forces in Gaza. The attacks have disrupted international shipping routes, forcing farms to reroute the longer and more expensive journeys that have in turn stoked fears over global inflation.
מדינת ישראל, אני הזהרתי ואמרתי שכמו שטיפלנו בסינואר בעזה, בהנייה בטהרן ובנסראללה בביירות, אנחנו נטפל גם בראשי החות'ים בצנעא ובכל מקום בתימן. אנחנו נפעל גם נגד התשתיות שלהם וגם נגדם כדי להסיר את האיום.
Russia has claimed that its forces have struck multiple Ukrainian targets on Tuesday. On the other hand, Ukraine has reported repelling multiple Russian attacks on the same day. Now, the Russian Ministry of Defense has said that its air and artillery forces targeted Ukrainian military personnel and amassed military equipment across 146 regions. Meanwhile, the Ukrainian Armed Forces General Staff has said that there have been 179 battles on frontline zones, and Ukrainian forces persisted in obstructing Russian offensives, with skirmishes ongoing in certain areas. US President-elect Donald Trump has said he will direct the Department of Justice to quote-unquote vigorously pursue the death penalty after Joe Biden commuted the death sentences of 37 federal inmates to life in prison. Trump has vowed to protect American families and children from violent rapists, murderers, and monsters. After Biden's commutation of most federal death row inmates, there will be just 3 individuals in federal prisons facing the death penalty when the president-elect takes office in January. A New York prosecutor has said that 33-year-old Bastian Zapeta, the man accused of burning a woman to death inside a New York subway train, used a shirt to fan the flames. The comment was made on Tuesday at Zapeta's arraignment on murder charges. According to U.S. federal immigration officials, Zapeta is a Guatemalan citizen who entered the U.S. illegally, was not required to enter a plea, and did not speak at the hearing in the Brooklyn criminal court. His lawyers did not even ask for bail. Zapeta will remain jailed at New York City's Rikers Island complex and is due back in court on Friday. U.S. President Joe Biden has signed the National Defense Authorization Act for the fiscal year 2025. Now, this move is aimed at boosting America's military spending to $895 billion, marking a 1% increase from the previous fiscal year. However, the decision to increase military spending has sparked controversy. Some members of the Congress have voiced concerns over the allocation of such a large budget amid growing domestic challenges. South Korea's main opposition party has vowed to impeach acting President Han Duck-soo, but reversed an earlier plan. It has decided to wait until later in the week as the risk of further political uncertainty remains heightened. Now, the move comes as the country is reeling from impeached President Yoon Suk-yeol's short-lived bid to impose martial law on the 3rd of December, that he partly blamed on the opposition's propensity to impeach government officials. According to a Reuters report, Chinese authorities have agreed to issue $411 billion worth of special treasury bonds next year. Now, these would be the highest on record as Beijing ramps up fiscal stimulus to revive a faltering economy. Now, the plan for 2025 sovereign debt issuance would be a sharp increase from this year's 1 trillion yuan. The move comes as Beijing moves to soften the blow from an expected increase in U.S. tariffs on Chinese imports when President Donald Trump takes office in January. An explosion at an armament factory in northwest Turkey has left at least 12 dead and 4 injured Tuesday morning. The blast occurred in the capsule production facility of the factory located in the province of Balıkesir, according to the state-run media agency. Now, Balıkesir Governor Ismail Ustangu has said the explosion collapsed the building and that surrounding buildings sustained minor damage. Justice Minister wrote on social media platform X that 4 public prosecutors have been assigned to investigate the cause of explosion. According to international hunger experts, famine is spreading in Sudan as a result of relentless war between the military and a paramilitary group that has wrecked the country and created the world's displacement displacement crisis, viewers. Experts detected famine in 5 areas in the northeastern African country, including Sudan's largest displacement camp, Zamzam, in North Darfur province, where the famine was announced for the first time in August this year. Now, Sudan has been roiled by a 20-month war that has killed more than 24,000 people and driven over 14 million people out. That's about 30% of the population, for perspective, from their homes. According to Haiti's online media association, 2 reporters have been killed and several others injured in a gang attack on the reopening of Port-au-Prince's biggest public hospital. Street gangs have taken over an estimated 85% of Haiti's capital, Port-au-Prince, as they forced the closure of the general hospital early this year. Authorities have pledged to reopen the facility, but as journalists gathered to cover this event, suspected gang members opened fire in a vicious Christmas Eve attack.